Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. My name's Will. This is the With Me YouTube channel. As always, got to hit you with a really quick sales pitch. If you get to the end of this video, you enjoyed it, you found it helpful, you like this type of content, you like the S650, you like the Bronco, you like the Ranger Raptor, you like the GX550, think about hitting that subscribe button down below. Totally free to subscribe. Just sends you a quick little notification whenever I'm posting some content out there. If you don't want to subscribe, that's cool. A like is always really appreciated as well. Now, with that BS out of the way, we can get into today's video. So once again today, we're jumping back onto the S650 build. I'm going to be installing something pretty cool today, and something that I think everyone who has a boosted S650, 550 should definitely be installing, especially if you're running any sort of flex fuel or blended flex fuel or supplementing with butane. This is something that all of you guys should install and run on your Mustang builds, and it is a ethanol sensor. The one that we have is from Fuel-It, Burger Motorsports, been around forever, JB4, all of that good stuff. But I have everything laid out on the workbench, so I'm going to turn you guys around and show you exactly what we're going to be installing today. So I have everything laid out over here. This little tool right here is to help remove the stock fuel line from the car. Right over here is the new fuel line with a 90-degree adapter. Over here we have the ethanol sensor. Over here we have the full wiring harness and the jumper adapter. So I'll unbox all of this in a second, but I'm going to go into a little bit on why you would want to run one of these. So in my case, I have the Whipple, the VMP kit on my car. This is their stage 3 kit. So basically like a stage 2, but with, you know, added accessories like the carbon fiber intake tube. But with the stage 3, we are running the 3.6 pulley. So I'll jump back over here. On the stage 2 kits, you run this pulley right here, which is the 3.75 pulley. So with this pulley, you can run 93 octane and I believe 91 octane, and that's perfectly fine. But when you want to step up or step down theoretically to a smaller pulley and start making more boost, I know that's a little bit reverse, you go with a smaller pulley to make more boost, you have to supplement your fuel. So for the longest time with the full Whipple calibration, since all of that was locked, you supplemented with just either doing a blended fuel like E30, so that's 93 octane mixed with E85 to bring your ethanol content to, you know, E30. Or another thing you could do is run 93 and then supplement it with some butane right here. So this is octane booster that you would pour into the tank to get you that higher content for fuel. But when you're doing that, you're really at the mercy of what, either your gas station, so like your pump E85, what that really is reading. So it's always kind of like a guessing game, and I would always recommend before you run any sort of, E through your car, you want to test it. But if you don't want to test it every single time, that's where this ethanol sensor comes into play. So you hook up all of this to your car, and then there is an app on your phone, and once this is all set up, you have the app run, and you have like either your butane with your 93 or your blended 93 with E85, or in my case, I'm lucky enough to actually have pump E30 at a local Sunoco. So once you have all of that in there, all of this installed, you have the app on your phone, it will actually give you a readout, in live, data of what your ethanol content is inside your car. So I think these things are super cool. For like the $500 to $550, it's well worth it for peace of mind, especially if you're like a boosted guy and you're changing pulleys constantly to make more power. You want to know what kind of fuel you're actually running through your car, and if you're like, just a full bolt-on guy, still NA, and you want to go with like a blended, E30 without a tune, or if you are finally going with like one of those custom tunes now and you're deciding to go with an E85, you can install these as well and know exactly what your ethanol content is on your S650 and also on your S550s as well. So install should be pretty straightforward. We need to come over here, disconnect this fuel line right over here, install the new one with the ethanol sensor there, so all of this ties in together. Then we run the electrical back here, tap it into a fuse source over here that turns on with ignition, ground it, and then we all should be pretty good to go. It should be You know, these are my famous last words. Should be simple to do, but obviously these fuel lines are pressurized. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the fuel pump, which is behind the rear seats over there. Disconnect that, turn the vehicle on, let it kind of just die and choke out from fuel. Then I'll be able to remove this line without spraying fuel everywhere and making an absolute mess. But yeah, I'll just kind of do like a time lapse, or you know, just like kind of clips here showing the install, but should be relatively straightforward. So let's go ahead and get it done. So you want to just pop up your rear seat. It's really easy to do. This whole piece just kind of lifts up, and then right over here you have your connections for your fuel pump. I have the VMP booster pump, which is tucked back here. So if you have a booster pump, that's what yours will look like. But if not, you just disconnect the wiring right here, and that should cut all power to the fuel pump. So now with that disconnected, we'll come inside the car, turn it on, let it idle for a little bit, and it should die out. And there it goes. Pretty sketchy, but now you don't have any fuel in the rail. So like I said before, next what you'll want to do is disconnect the fuel line from right here, and then also back here, the upwards one. This is easy. This is just like a compression tab, but with the one back here, you got to use this little tool right there to get inside of there. Then you push this up and it will disconnect it from right here. So I would also recommend having just like a little bit of a shop towel just to catch any other fuel that might be in there, because you know, you never know. But let's go ahead and get that done. So we got the fuel line off. Let me go ahead and show you exactly how this little tool works. So see like these little like grabber areas right here. So you want to try and get it inside both of these little holes inside there while it's still on the fuel rail, and you push it in like that. It relieves the pressure on the inside, and then you just pull forward, and then this part will be disconnected. This is the part that's close to the firewall. This side over here where it actually connects to the engine is just a tab like that. You slide these little things down all the way, and then you just pull this out, and then that'll free it up. So now with this out of the way, we will assemble our new fuel rail with the 90-degree elbow, and then we have to put this in line as well, which is the ethanol sensor. So I'm gonna get that all assembled, and we'll get that installed on the car, and I'll show you the final product. So I wanted to make a little comment here real quick. So you see on this piece right here, it has like that little opening. So these little grooves kind of go in there like so, and there's like a little tab that slides into position, and that kind of locks it in there. So you need to remove this little tab, it'll slide out there. Then you can install this where it needs to go, put this on the opposite side, and then you turn this into position, and then it locks it in place. And the same goes for the actual fuel line itself. So you can see it installed right there right now. You can see how it has like that little groove right there. You need to just kind of move this out of position. You could use like a little like vice grip or something, or a plier, twist it, it'll come out. And it's the same on this end over here as well. All right, so we got it all connected now, and you notice how it's nighttime all of a sudden? Yeah, it's because this part is a fucking nightmare. It's really difficult to get the little connection on that piece right there. It's also pretty difficult to get it on the 90-degree elbow there. But yeah, I would also say this line is a little bit long. I would have liked it maybe like a half to 1 inch shorter, so it doesn't have like that crazy arch to it. But that's all connected now finally after 3 hours of fighting it. Only tip I can give you is put like a rag underneath here, because I had one of those little like little clamp things fall underneath the blower. So that was an absolute fucking nightmare trying to get it out, because these pieces are aluminum, so they're not magnetic. So I had to pretty much disconnect a bunch of hoses here. I put a bunch of super glue on my fingers, shoved it up underneath there, and I was lucky enough that it kind of just stuck onto one of my fingers. But this is all connected now. So now I'm gonna basically connect the wiring, run it up behind the blower, bring it over to the battery in the fuse box. I'll show you when I do that, and I can finally be done with this fucking project. Alright everyone, so it is the following morning now. Oh man, that was a pain in the butt. What should have been such a simple install, and I jinxed myself at the beginning of this video. I even called it out. And you know, what should have been simple ended up being kind of a pain in the butt. I had dropped like a few pieces. The little connector piece went underneath the blower, so that took like almost 2 hours to fish that piece out. Then I dropped another one through the engine bay, and it landed like on the under shield underneath there, so that took like another hour and a half to get out. Those little metal like clip pieces, that's the hardest part in my opinion of this entire install, and the fact that they weren't metal and I couldn't use a magnet to fish them out just made it a little bit more difficult. But now that we have some daylight, I'm gonna turn you guys around here, give you a better look at everything. You can see we have the actual ethanol sensor right here. There's the 90-degree elbow going into right up here. Then this is fishing right back into the actual fuel source through the firewall. We got the lead that's tucked up underneath here, that's running underneath that cowl. It's ran all the way this way. I have the negative terminal grounded underneath here to the battery. All the wiring is tucked underneath this battery box, and then it is fed into over here, and I showed you exactly where I connected that fuel source to. So another thing as well, don't forget, go back into your car and reconnect your fuel pump harness over there, then put the rear seat back, all of that. So now with that out of the way, I haven't started it yet, so I'm gonna start it up, let it idle for a little bit, build some pressure back here. Yeah, the neighbors are gonna love me this morning because this thing's super loud, but I want to make sure there's no leaks, nothing like that. Everything on here is nice and tight, so we shouldn't have any leaks, but you never know. So we're gonna test that, start it up, let it build some pressure back into the fuel line, and then I will show you on the app. We'll go on there and it will show us, you know, the ethanol reading and all that. I'm currently running 93 mixed with butane, so I'm running the butane professional, so I have 16 ounces of butane mixed in with a full tank of 93, so it's not going to read like E30 or high ethanol content. Typically like 93 shows around like an E10 kind of ethanol reading. It's not like it's fully ethanol free, but it should show a little bit. But let me go, I'm going to start this up, then we'll get into the app and you can check that out as well. So thankfully we didn't have any leaks. Pressurized the fuel line again, let it idle for a little bit. There was a little bit of a rough idle, but that was kind of to be expected since there was no fuel in the rail. So once it got, you know, circulating again, it was all fine. So let's go ahead, jump inside the car now, and I will turn on just the accessory power here, and then that should be fine to give us the ethanol reading. Let me change my lights to here. So let's go ahead, get into my phone, and then you can see right down here, click on the Fuel-It app, and then this opens up right here, and then scroll down to right here where it says connect. It'll look for the device, it'll connect to it, and there you go. It shows us our ethanol rating right there. And like I said, I'm running 93 right now with just the butane, so showing up as E10, that's perfect. You know, it's good 93 octane fuel then at that point. And if I scroll over here, it'll give you your ethanol content as well as your fuel temperature. So yeah, pretty simple to use, and this will definitely come more handy if you are, like I said earlier, running any sort of blended E-mix or any flex fuel like E85, something like that, so you know exactly what your fuel quality is. With 93 in the butane right now, like I just said, E10, good to go. But this will definitely be way more handy when I'm not running the butane and just wanting to do like an E30 blend. So now that the install is all done, let me share just my 2 cents on first impressions with the kit. The whole user face, I really do like that. Syncs up really easily to your phone with Bluetooth. It shows the display right away, so that's really nice, really simple to do. It's nice that it shows you the fuel temperature as well. That's pretty cool. With the kit itself, I do wish that this line was a little bit shorter. I mentioned that earlier, but I don't really like the dramatic bend there. I just wish it would have just went, you know, straight across. So making that a little bit shorter would have been nice. Also would have been nice to use OEM connectors. I know I do appreciate, like, you know, the billet aluminum, like 90 degree with like the clamp on here, but those little twist clamp locks are a pain in the ass, and that's what made this install difficult. If it would have just utilized OEM connectors, it would have been literally like a 15-minute job. So wish they would have done that, but other than that, can't really hate on it all too much. I don't really have long time experience with it, but that's just my 2 cents right off the bat. But yeah, glad that's over with, glad it's all working. I'll have a link to this product down in the description below. This isn't a sponsored video by any means. They're not going to give me like a kickback or anything, and they don't even know I'm making this. It's just I wanted to just share the install with you guys because I haven't really seen anyone else do like a deep dive install on one of these on an S650. So here you go. I hope it helps. If you like the video, like is always really appreciated. Jump down into the comments if you have any questions or if you want to share your 2 cents. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Have a few other projects to get done on the S650, so stay tuned for that. If you like the video, you like this type of content, always I really appreciate a new subscriber. But if you don't want to subscribe, a like again is always really appreciated as well. My name's Will. This is Wimmy YouTube channel. Thanks for kicking it with me today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later, everybody.